Support for WYES is made possible by Mary Lou Kristovich in memory of her husband, William Kristovich.
Good evening, I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, John Kemp, art columnist for Louisiana Life magazine. Hey, John, great to see you again. Hello. Poppy Tucker, host of the award-winning radio program Louisiana Eats, airing twice weekly on WWNO Radio. And we're glad that you're here, too, of course. From Parks, Louisiana, outside of Breaux Bridge, Zydeco accordionist and band leader and vocalist Corey Ledette, performing this weekend at the French Quarter Festival and performing for us a little later on. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
Great to see you. And Steppin Out theater critic, Alan Mason, editor of the Crescent City Jewish News. But first up, another laurel for Poppy.
This was pretty good. This is our first National Food Media Award. It's a taste award. They were given out in Los Angeles, and we won for a Louisiana Eats program we did about sobriety, interestingly enough. Out of New Orleans, you know,
yes.
Beat that. So it's hard not to wear it every day. It's really hard. But anyway, you know, Jazz Fest is coming up, and I think it creeps up on locals, and they suddenly realize that they can't get into any of their regular restaurants because the restaurants get booked up months in advance. So for the next few weeks, I am going to give people ideas of places that all of those jazz tourists who come will not know about. And we're going to start off on Ferret Street today. There is a restaurant there that is the Ferret Beer Room. The owner is Eli Gay. The chef is Charles Vincent, formerly from Cochin. It looks very casual. The food is fabulous. It's what you would expect from a fancy white tablecloth restaurant. Interestingly enough, they have a happy hour, 4 to 6, Monday through Friday, $2 off local and statewide beers. But holy moly, the food! There's tuna escabeche, that's English peas, olives with a fried tortilla, bluefin tuna crudo with a lemon basil puree, creme fraiche, and horseradish. Blew my mind, skate wing schnitzel with pickled cabbage and mustard butter. You never see skate on New Orleans menus. Roasted cauliflower and a beautiful meat board that on Friday and Saturday night they do a late night food happy hour, and that's 10 p.m. till midnight. You get a fried chicken sandwich for just $9 and the cheese board and the meat board $10. Then also new, some place that I think Jazz Fest people will love, Effervescence, new down on Rampart Street. And of course, it's a champagne house. And so just as you would expect, there's caviar, crudités, cheeses, cold seafood platters, and of course, fries with aioli. The chefs are these adorable young couple. Outdoor seating, that's always good to know. Brenna Sanders and Evan Ingram. And I just love Effervescence. And the last shot, look who's there playing at the piano. It's so elegant. It's so much fun. They've got not only bottles of champagne, but they've also got inventive champagne cocktails. And when I was there most recently, I was there with my adorable daughter, and we enjoyed this fabulous cocktail, the champagne with a popsicle in it. It was really, really fabulous. So anyway, then, you know, Easter is coming. So I wanted to give some people some Easter brunch ideas. Compare Le Pen Easter brunch looks grand at the old number 77 Hotel in Chandlery. Of course, the chef is Nina Compton, who was just announced a finalist for a James Beard Award this year as Best Chef of the South, and recently named Food and Wine Magazine's Best New Chef 2017. The menu: deviled Scotch eggs, jerk lamb shank with spring peas, asparagus, fontina fondue, and quail egg, guava pepper jelly glazed pork belly, and hot cross buns. hot cross buns, traditional Easter food. And Abigail Gullo, one of my favorite bartenders, is making all sorts of wonderful new cocktails like travel papers, Page of Swords, Lasers in the Jungle, Sail the Endless Skies. You wouldn't believe all the things that go in those cocktails. And then, I have to say, the top of my wish list is the Caribbean room for Easter Sunday. The dining room just looks like where you want to be on Easter. And they're serving their oysters on the half shell with a Szechuan mignonette and wasabi, the Caribbean room eggs Benedict, the speckled trout pontchartrain, that classic. And then additionally, there's going to be an $80 specially priced tasting menu that's going to include asparagus salad, crawfish ravioli, lamb medallions, and carrot cake beignets. Wow. Oh God, I hope to eat there Easter Sunday. I hope my prayers are answered. Amen.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And speaking of amen, actually I have a PS to Poppy because a reminder concerning the 7th annual Best Chefs of Louisiana event presented by the American Culinary Foundation's New Orleans chapter. That's Tuesday evening at the Lakefront Airport Terminal, beautiful Art Deco edifice, acfno.org for details. And that really sounds like a fun event, too.
It does.
And let's go to Venice, but maybe via City Park.
City Park. Well, it fits right in with Poppy's saying. It's the city of celebration. This is a show at the New Orleans Museum of Art. It's called A Life of Seduction, Venice in 1700s. And the museum did a really good job of collecting 138 artworks from Italy, the United States, and its own collection, and sort of exploring the opulence and the beauty and the pageantry of Venice in the 1700s. And it's again, talking about city as theater because it even spills into the streets. And the curators, and we were getting a walk through, were tying this celebration, this pageantry, this carnival atmosphere that existed in Venice at the time because it was a powerful maritime port. And it shows two parts, really. One, the celebration by the merchant class, the aristocracy, and then the ordinary people in the streets. And we draw the connection to New Orleans with Mardi Gras, with the balls of the rather wealthy, and then even more so now than in the past, everything that's going on in Carnival and Mardi Gras in New Orleans now, where it's really taken to the streets. You have more street celebration now with Carnival and Mardi Gras in New Orleans than you've ever had before. And this is exactly what was happening in Venice in the 1700s when it was at the height of its
and it lasted sometimes
power.
For 6 months. That's what was so incredible.
Kind of like New Orleans too.
you just wear a mask nightly, you know.
Yeah, and the whole masking tradition. And it kind of reminds me of what, remember A.J. Liebling? He was the great writer for the New Yorker magazine. He wrote, New Orleans was the northernmost Caribbean city, but it also is in that great orbit of the Mediterranean, tying in with the cities of Italy, like Genoa and Venice. Absolutely true when you see this particular thing. And it's a terrific show. And actually, it was Vanessa Schmidt who was the curator working on this end, but it was also organized primarily by the former curator of the museums of Venice and brought all this together. It's an excellent show. It's only going to be here in New Orleans, too, so I recommend seeing
Good catalog, by the way.
Yes,
I try not to tempt myself too much, but I rarely buy catalogs, but that one, it's a keeper. Also, three-dimensional objects like clothing,
the clothing,
doges, hats.
The sculpture, and also the magnificent Venetian glass that you see. That's known throughout the world, Murano glass. I got stopped by somebody who tried to drag me to Murano one time to sell me stuff. But no, it's beautiful. It's the real thing. It's beautiful stuff. So I really recommend seeing that one. And then the second show is dealing with New Orleans history specifically. You all heard of Storyville, but few people know what it's really all about. The show at the Historic New Orleans collection is called Storyville, Madams and Music. So we're not just talking about the purient interest of the bawdy houses, the brothels, and the sadder components of the little cribs along the side streets.
Yeah, it's poor women.
But what they've done, this show at the collection now is based on a book by Pamela Arsenault, one of the curators at the museum. It's called Guidebooks to Sin, the Blue Books of Storyville. And what they do, they divide the show exhibit to two parts. The first is dealing with the prostitution that existed. Prostitution in the 1890s in New Orleans was prevalent throughout the city. So the city of New Orleans in 1897, the city council created Storyville. Prostitution is illegal, but you can do it within this section of the city. And it got the name of Sidney Story, the councilman who introduced the ordinance. For the rest of his life, was very sorry because he was kind of embarrassed by it. It's called Storyville. But anyway, it existed within that area. And so they have photographs, maps, and memorabilia showing and Belloc, for the famous Belloc photographs, showing the
Pretty Baby was based
the
on.
movie Pretty Baby,
Yeah.
and it's showing the prostitution end of it, and photographs of some of the women who work in the district, which are really sad-looking faces, desperate, poor, sad-looking faces. These not want the women of the grand ball, the grand parlors, but those who work in those little cramped one-room cribs in the side streets.
Those blue books are so intriguing because they're directories to all of these places that
They
were
are.
given by newsboys to
But they don't mention
usually
sex,
men.
and they don't mention
They don't
prostitution.
mention it,
No,
do they?
They call it the entertainment district. So it's, like kind of Sodom and Gomorrah, but it's the entertainment district because the second part of the exhibit, which is even more interesting for those who know something about Storyville than the first, is that dealing with the music aspect of it, because all of the musicians of that time who later went on to great fame in producing Jelly Roll Morton and so forth, they show you the progression of music that was played in these dance halls, because it was dancing, not just prostitution, but dancing and music. It was truly an entertainment district. But they show you the progression of the music as it progressed from sometimes they even play classical music all the way through ragtime, and to eventually coming into jazz. And some of the people who in the very beginning of creating jazz and starting there in other parts of the city. So, and then of course the show ends in 1917 when the Navy Department, because we had World War I and we had young soldiers training in New Orleans at the fairgrounds, that the Navy Department insisted that the district be closed because we didn't want to corrupt these young soldiers coming into the city. So they closed in 1970, in Storyville is history. But the buildings, most of the buildings remained actually until the 1930s when they demolished them to build the housing projects.
Yeah,
that
right
were
behind
built.
what we think of as Krauss
That's
department
correct.
store.
Now,
But that's another one.
Which also gone now. Too.
Yeah, but pick up the book. All right,
Pick up the book,
Pamela's.
absolutely.
Two good books going with these
Guidebooks
exhibits.
to Sin.
Guidebooks.
No, that's right.
Thank you so much.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
And New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Gary Hodge named the two riverfront sites named after New Orleans mayors, and the mayors themselves. The Moonwalk, named after Moon Landrieu, and the Ernest N. Morial Convention Center is the other. But you could have said Dutch Alley, too, since Morial's nickname was Dutch. Now, tonight's question. There are 3 passages in the French Quarter that are referred to as alleys. Name 2. Email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes, a year's subscription to Louisiana Life magazine. And we have a $50 gift certificate from our friends at Kitchen Witch Cookbooks, who are hosting vegan pop-ups tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can visit wyes.org for our online calendar to see our lineup of events. You can also link to our WYES YouTube channel to view our program. We are so thrilled to have, from Parks, Louisiana, Corey Ledet. Welcome, Corey.
Thank you.
Grammy nominee from 2012.
Yes, ma'am.
Brand new CD called Keepin' the Faith, but you're playing tomorrow at the French Quarter Festival, huh?
Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday,
yeah.
Sunday, yes.
Yeah, we'll be there at the Chevron stage,
Okay,
and
great.
start at about 5:30. Yeah.
And with your band? Or?
Yeah, the whole band. We'll all be there, all of us.
Now, this is your 9th CD, and
Yes.
I was enjoying it and listening to it. You mix it up. It's not all Zydeco.
Right. That's a part of my style. I do more styles of music besides Zydeco. I could do jazz, blues, country, whatever. And I'm a big fan of music. So a lot of my stuff, I try to mix everything up, not just keep it, just Zydeco. I want to try to please as many people as I can through my music.
Now, you're originally from Houston, but you had
Yes.
ties in Louisiana and near Breaux Bridge, so you moved back, and you've
Right.
been living here ever
My
since.
father is from that area, around the Breaux Bridge Parks area. So after I finished high school, which was in 2000, I came on back because I would spend my summer vacations with cousins and aunts and stuff like that. So when I finally got out of high school, I came straight to Louisiana.
And you've been playing for a quarter of a century?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Sounds like an old man. So really, you started playing at 10?
Yeah, or younger, but yeah, around there.
Influences.
Ooh, that's a hard question.
Clifton
'cause
Chenier, I guess, huh?
Clifton
Who
Chenier,
else?
I'm influenced by a lot of different artists. Clifton Chenier, of course, the legendary Buckwheat Zydeco, Rockin' Doopsie Jr., of course, Michael Jackson. I grew up in that era. Prince, Morris Day, all that good stuff.
Lots of influences.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're going to play for us.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And you know, in addition to all these fine CDs, he also has a website, CoreyLeday.com. You can also check out Corey's Facebook page to keep track of his upcoming performances. So now, here is Corey performing a bit of Pine Top Boogie for us.
Well, I'll be with you till the cows come home. Don't let me catch a woman doing wrong. Don't you lie to me. Don't you lie to me. You're gonna make me mad. I can live as a man can be. Well, it's two kind of people that I just can't stand. A lying woman and a sneaky man. Don't you lie to me. Don't you lie to me. You're gonna make me mad. I can live as a man can be. Hey. Well, I'll be with you till the cows come home. Don't let me catch a woman doing wrong. Don't you lie to me. Don't you lie to me. You're gonna make me mad. I can live it as a man can be. Well, it's two kind of people that I just can't stand. A lying woman and a sneaky man. Don't you lie to me. Don't you lie to me. You're gonna make me mad. I can live it as a man can be. Yeah.
And that is how he pronounces it, plays at the French Quarter Festival this Sunday evening at the Chevron Cajun Zydeco stage. And now it's time for our Artist Spotlight. Tonight we are featuring 3 different events. First, we have the On the Way to Montague by Roland Golden, and that is one of the pieces included in his exhibit, Remembrances of France. A reception will take place tomorrow evening from 6 to 9 at his gallery on North Columbia Street in Covington. It coincides with Spring for Art, the annual art walk around in downtown Covington. Next, the Friends of St. Alphonsus will host Art in April to benefit the restoration of one of their windows in the St. Alphonsus Church, now the St. Alphonsus Art and Cultural Center. The art auction and gala, it's lots of fun, will take place tomorrow evening, Saturday, at the center on Constance Street in the Irish Channel. Visit friendsofstalphonsus.org for tickets. Finally, artist Hans Slonim will sign his new book, Birds, at the Martine Chasson Gallery on Camp Street. That's next Thursday evening from 6 to 8. Now it's time for Alan.
Well, you know what impressed me most about the latest production at the World War II Museum, which is Biloxi Blues, was the professionalism and the experience of the cast. Entertainment director Victoria Reed has, if you will, drafted some surprisingly experienced members of this 9-cast players group who all take part in what is essentially the middle chapter of the trilogy by Neil Simon. Of course, it starts with Brighton Beach Memories and ends with Broadway Bound. But Biloxi Blues has Eugene Morris, Boris Jerome as the central character. He's Logan Halliburton. He's a University of Southern Mississippi theater major whose easygoing style and self-assured manner on stage really makes him a great choice as a narrator for this play. Stephen Stanley plays another recruit, Arnold Epstein, a fellow Jew from New York, who, unlike Jerome, is unwilling to conform to the Army rules and regulations. And that causes a big problem with the Broadway veteran Patrick Ryan Sullivan, who's playing Sergeant Merwin Toomey. His job is to whip these young recruits into fighting soldiers. He has a headline injury, which has sidelined him. This causes him some frustration. He takes it out on the boys in the way that he trains them. It all leads to a confrontation in that second act between Epstein and the sergeant, all of which is cataloged by Jerome, who wants to become a writer, lose his virginity, and fall in love, but not necessarily in that order. Biloxi Blues contains more than its share of comedic moments. It does, however, also possess several key moments and scenes dealing with aspects of anti-Semitism, homosexuality, physical and mental abuse, interfaith relationships, and love. And it's starring also Kate Kuhn, David Lynn, Shelby Kirby, Reed Luckett Wiley, and Cooper Bircha, rounding out the cast, as well as Todd D'Amore, who is, of course, we remember from Venus and Fur, and, of course, the brother of Lisa D'Amore. For its first non-musical production, the National World War II Museum has done very well. The set by David Raffel, by the way, which employs a turntable, works quite well, and it moves the scenes along, and I really recommend this very highly. It runs through April the 22nd. Now, is there anyone out there who really doesn't love truly Whitney Houston and her repertoire of major hits from the 1980s and 1990s? It would be tantamount to, I guess, treason to suggest otherwise. The current national tour of this formulaic jukebox musical, The Bodyguard, is based, of course, on the 1992 film that starred Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. It's continuing its run at the Sanger. 2 words: Deborah Cox. That says it all. She has a magnificent voice that captures the essence of this diva, Rachel Marin, who is being stalked. And, of course, the costumes and the set amplify her voice gloriously. The choreography is also designed to enhance her singing. Enter Frank Farmer. He's the bodyguard, played by Hudson Mills, who saves her life but falls hard for that pop star. There's a lot of interplay between the two. Another fine singer, though, is Jasmine Richardson, who plays Nikki Marin, the less talented older sister, who adds her own stylings to the Whitney Houston repertoire. And in the end, The Bodyguard will have everyone dancing on their feet. There's no doubt about that. Does the book tell a little bit more about the nature of the characters? No. Do we learn a little bit more about the sisters' past that helps us understand their characters? No. Do we truly understand the motivation behind the somewhat wooden Frank? No. But in the end, it doesn't matter, because after all, if you love the songs like How Will I Know, I Want to Dance with Somebody, and Saving All My Love, it really doesn't matter. It's The Bodyguard. You'll see it now through Sunday. That's at the Sanger. And I got to see an original cast of a Broadway show a couple of years ago that I am now being able to see. I was able to see last night and review it at the theater at St. Claude, and that is Hand to God. This is a very irreverent and a very adult dark comedy. It's full of topics that will make several people feel uncomfortable. It challenges organized religion, for example. Jason, who plays is played by John Fitzgerald. He plays Jason, the character, and the puppet, of course, Tyrone. He's encouraged to act out his teenage angst over losing his father and having a repressed mother by basically taking care of being part of a puppet class. His mother's played fabulously by Andrea Watson. Kyle Woods plays Timothy, a bad boy who's also in the class, and he becomes the subject or the object of hate, if you will, by Jason's puppet Tyrone. Tyrone challenges the authority, and even the Reverend Greg, played by Mike Harkins, who's marvelous in the role. He's brought into this particular drama as well. And Meredith Owens, who plays Catherine in Pippin, if you remember a few years ago. Oh, yeah. She plays the love interest, if you will, of Jason. She has a lady puppet, of course, who draws the attention of Tyrone. We're not going to go into all the details. I don't want to spoil the rest of the plot, but suffice it to say that this play by Robert Askins raises a great many questions about the differences between good and evil, and even why it is that women are drawn to bad boys rather than the nice ones. The set by David Raffel is also brilliant, and the lighting and sound design by Michael McKelvey and Mike Harkins, who, of course, who stars, is also noteworthy. This is Hand to God. Again, not for everybody, but if those of you are a little bit open-minded and not feeling a little bit concerned about whether or not your religion's going to be affronted, I think it's something to see. It's at the theater at St. Claude, which is right on St. Claude in Marigny, 2240 St. Claude Avenue. And again, it runs through April the 29th. This is one of Michael McKelvey from the Summer Lyric artistic director. This is is one of his projects outside of Summer Lyric, and he's really looking forward to having more people come in.
And you wanted to tell us quickly about the new season?
There is a brand new season. I have to let you know that, Once on This Island leads off the season that they're going to have for Le Petite. This is the Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty story about the Caribbean. It's about an island, etc. Then coming up, Disenchanted, which is a little bit of the Disney kind of thing. Yeah, basically, you'll see that. Then A Streetcar Named Desire for the Tennessee Williams New Orleans Literary Festival. Then the other God play, An Act of God, which I also saw on Broadway last year, that starred Sean Hayes, and before that, Jim Parsons. And then finally, Crowns, which we've already seen here once before. Anthony Bean Community Theater did it. And so they're going to bring that back. It's a mix of gospel and jazz and blues, and of course,
sounds like a great season.
It's all about the crowns, the ladies' heads, or their crowns, or hats.
The hats, yes, Sunday hats. Okay, great, thank you. And now time for our picks. John.
Well, if you have a pretty day coming up, I suggest going over to the Mississippi Gulf Coast to Biloxi, the George Orr Museum. It has a new show up of the internationally acclaimed New Orleans artist Robert Warren's selection from 50 years of paintings. And he was, of course, the master of the imaginary images paintings came out of the 1970s.
Exactly.
Full of wit, satire, terrific show.
All right, thank you. Poppy.
Well, of course, go down to the French Quarter to the festival and eat. But good thing to know, Thursday, good news, bad news, Holy Thursday at Dookie Chase. If you do not have a reservation, forget about going. But you can buy takeout, so just call and you can pick it up at the Gumbo's Herbs. You can pick it up at the restaurant.
Thank you. Corey, you're coming to the Jazz Fest.
Yes, I will be there that Sunday, the last Sunday.
Okay.
At 12 o'clock.
All right, very good. Alan.
The Rockfire Theater Company with Kevin Murphy, they do a really great job. They're doing Failure, a Love Story. This is a new production that's going to run April the 22nd at the Sanctuary Cultural Arts Center on Burgundy Street, 2525 Burgundy. And again, I recommend people checking it out.
Great, thank you. My picks, City Park's annual Spring Garden Show will be taking place tomorrow and Sunday at the New Orleans Botanical Garden. And the Vintage Wear Gina Wear Shop will host their monthly sale. That's tomorrow at their warehouse on Bienville in Mid-City. Then later at 3 p.m., registration for the Big Easy Bunny Hop Bar Crawl. It's a bar crawl through the warehouse district, and you can register at Manning's, and there's an after party at Generations Hall. Tickets are just $20, benefiting the Second Harvesters Food Bank. And Harrison Avenue Marketplace takes place next Wednesday evening in front of Lakeview Grocery. Looking ahead, Sharon Martin will play Billie Holiday in Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill, opening April 21st and running through May 21st at the Pontchartrain Supper Club. That's on France Road. Tickets are available on Eventbrite.com. Now we leave you with the scene from the New Orleans Opera Association's production of Faust last weekend. This scene features New Orleans' own Sarah Jane McMahon, who performs around the country. Thanks to photographer Craig Kramer for the video, and thank you for watching. Great to see you all. Good night.